Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and today I just wanted to do a very quick video about God of War Ragnarok. So at the time of recording this, I finished it, by it I mean the main story. I'm not even close to being done with God of War as a game, or Ragnarok as a game as far as 100% completion, which is what I want to do before making the big video about it. But I finished the main story yesterday, and I just wanted to give some brief, spoiler-free thoughts on it. Normally, I would save something like this for the big video, but I feel like there's enough here to where I can talk about it briefly without getting into details about certain things. And I also want to just put something out there because, for people who are on the fence about buying this game, the first thing I want to say is that this is one of the easiest recommendations I can make as far as a game for this year. I don't even think somebody needs to finish asking the question of like, would you recommend God of War Ragnarok? And my answer would just be yes, absolutely. If you have a PS5, you have a PS4, you want to play it, you have $70 to blow on it, go for it. It's very good. It's very, very good. I can definitely see where all the time and energy went and money went into this game. I can't even imagine the amount of man hours that went into it. It's crazy, especially the more I explore of this game and the more I start to see and the more that it's revealed to me. I'm astonished by the amount of work that was put into this, so I would easily recommend playing this game. But the thing that many people, including me, go to God of War Ragnarok for is the story, and that's ultimately what I want to talk about today. And the story to this game is very good. I don't think it's great. I think without getting into specifics, I think some of the dramatic beats don't land like I think they were supposed to for me personally. And I think it is a tad too long in certain areas. I think the pacing definitely is not as snappy as it was in the first game. And Ragnarok is... And I normally don't like using this word because I find it cringy when a lot of people use it. But I use this word in the traditional Hollywood sense. And that is that this game is an epic. It is an epic. It is an epic like how, Gone with the Wind is an epic, like Lawrence of Arabia is an epic, like Lord of the Rings trilogy are epics. They are these massive productions that are lengthy, have a lot of development, a lot of story, a lot of character, a lot of big things happening in them. And that definitely describes God of War Ragnarok. And the thing with God of War Ragnarok as well is that I definitely could have seen where they could have broken this up into two games. If God of War 2018 was the Fellowship of the Ring, Ragnarok is like they took the Two Towers and the Return of the King and combined it into just one behemoth of a movie or a book. That's basically what Ragnarok is. And I ultimately wouldn't be surprised if this was the finale to this series. And ultimately, in the end, I'm okay with this being the final game in the series. I don't think that's going to happen because I'm sure Sony wants to keep milking this franchise and they want to keep making money off of it because the first game was by first, I mean this new duology was such a big financial success for them that I'm sure they want to do more with it. But as far as I'm concerned, for the time being, this ultimately is a satisfying conclusion to the God of War series. It's a satisfying conclusion to this duology as well. And what surprised me about this game is that it really does a great job keeping things fresh as far as story beats that it hits, as far as places that you go, events that happen. Because for something that is this long and this densely packed, it, for the most part, it keeps the pacing pretty tight. There are only occasionally some little bumps in the road where I started to kind of look at my metaphorical watch and be like, okay, tick tock, motherfucker, come on, let's wrap this up. I know where this is going. And other than those moments, I think this fits the bill of being this. What I love about epics that do this right is that by the time you're done with them, you yourself feel like you've been on this long journey with these characters, and you've seen these people grow and change and learn things about themselves and learn things about the loved ones that surround them. And God of War Ragnarok does a really good job of developing Kratos, of developing Atreus, developing their allies, hell, developing even the villains, who I was not expecting to get the depth that they do in this game. Obviously, again, I won't go into specifics, but the people that are here, that are obviously going to be here, like Thor and Odin, they are given a lot more depth and subtlety than I expected. Especially Odin, which in the first game, when you think about Odin, you know, he's this unseen force, but everybody talks about him. What a psychotic bastard he is. And then you get to this game, and you know, you definitely see that side of him, but he's not this cartoon villain. He's not even like how Zeus was in God of War 2 and 3, where he's just the bad guy. You know, Zeus is awesome and is a very good villain, very theatrical villain in God of War 2 and 3. But Odin is different from that, where he's like somebody who's very good in real life at like gaslighting others, at subtly manipulating people, at playing on people's, you know, naivete and optimism and trust. And that ultimately, to me, made him a lot more interesting than a villain like Zeus, which again, I'm not knocking Zeus. Zeus was a really good villain, but as far as a character that is actually relatable, not in a I identify this person kind of way, but in a I've seen people like this in real life. I know people like this personally in my real life. That made it a lot more effective. And the things that ultimately are what makes God of War Ragnarok ultimately compelling as far as its story are those like subtleties, are those little moments where, you know, a lot of movies, TV shows, games, books, whatever, a lot of them have these plots that involve these big world-ending stakes that it's like, oh my god, the fabric of reality itself is gonna cave in, and oh my god, there's this big villain that's gonna come out and destroy everything. Oh my god, don't you feel excited? Don't you feel invested in this? And it's like, not on its own. You gotta kind of put in the effort there to really develop, you know, what is this threat? Why should I care about this? Why should I care about these characters that I'm controlling? So ultimately, when you've had those moments of, you know, quiet reflection among the characters, and the characters sit down to talk with one another, when they learn things from one another, when they grow as people, that ultimately makes the big high stakes moments all the more compelling, because it's like, oh my god, I am afraid of what's going to happen to these characters, because in the end I ultimately care. And that to me is the difference between God of War and like a bunch of other shit out there. Hell, that's even the difference if I'm going to compare it to another PlayStation game. That's ultimately, you know, why I find this game much more compelling as far as a story than Horizon Forbidden West, where Forbidden West, I was just like, okay, like, it's another like big showstopper finale. Like, yeah, it's cool and all, but I'm not like fully emotionally invested in it like I am here. And that's really all I want to say as far as the story for now. I'll save some more thoughts for the future, a future video once I've 100% completed it. But yeah, the I guess one other thing I'll say is that if you've watched the trailers for this, especially if you've watched the showcase trailer from last year, if you watched the story trailer that came out during the recent State of Play, just know that Sony has done an excellent job of hiding a lot of what happens in the story. Most of what you've seen in these trailers, like the vast majority of it, happens in the first 5 hours of the game. And there's only a handful of shots here and there that happen later on. But they're so out of context, and it's like, they really don't show you shit as far as the big things that happen later, as far as the moments that are gonna really take you by surprise, where you go like, oh, they're going this direction. Oh, they're doing something with this character. That's interesting. But I give Sony's marketing department props for making really good trailers that don't spoil like big moments of the game, unlike other publishers that I can think of, like Capcom, Square Enix, like especially Square Enix. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on God of War Ragnarok story for now. There will be another video later, but I just wanted to get something out there, just a gut reaction to it. Yeah, that's really about it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.